Hello folks, welcome back to Squeaky Whale's coverage of E3 2019. Now we're talking about Ubisoft. Of course, we have Video Game Commissioner Evie here, along with the official Ubisoft Alolan Vulpix, which is not a Glaceon like I originally planned to be there, and realized I didn't actually own a Glaceon. I am very disappointed in myself for this bit, so let's just get straight into the video games for Ubisoft. This one will be a quick one. Not too much to talk about here, honestly, but we're going to start off with Watch Dogs 3, which is actually known as Watch Dogs Legion, but we knew that because it leaked ahead of the show. Watch Dogs Legion takes place in a post-Brexit London. They said those words on stage, and the main hook of this game is that you are playing as a bunch of different characters. Every NPC seems to be a playable character, in fact. They showed this off in a long gameplay demo where the first character the person was playing as ends up dying, and then they just jump to a different character in the DedSec community. Is community even the right word for that? Maybe the best part of that demo was actually when they showed off that you could play as an old lady wearing a bike helmet, holding a taser, and just jumping over fences. It all seems incredibly ambitious, and in fact these Watch Dogs games look like they keep getting better and better. The first one was middling at best, the second one got a lot of praise, and now this third one is completely changing up the main game mechanic. Of course, by evoking the words Brexit on stage, that means Ubisoft can't hide behind their "our games aren't political" spiel. I mean, I'm sure marketing will find some way to spin it, but come on. At least I have a little bit more faith in Watch Dogs handling this subject matter, because if any of their properties were to do this, it would be this one. And in fact, I think the second one even delved into a bit of that. But seriously, let's stop pretending that the people making this game aren't trying to say something. Watch Dogs Legion will be out on March 6th, 2020. From there, we got a bit of a quickie that I'm only really mentioning because I have an affinity towards the property being used. It's an Adventure Time DLC for Brawlhalla. I don't play Brawlhalla. I know a few people who play Brawlhalla, but I've never tried it myself. That said, I do love Adventure Time, and it was just cool to see them up on that stage fighting other characters that weren't part of their world. This isn't necessarily going to get me to play Brawlhalla, but I just wanted to mention it. I thought it was kind of cool. Moving right along, let's talk about The Division 2. That's a good video game. I like it. I've played a lot of it up until I beat it and then did all the strongholds. I haven't actually played much of it since, but maybe I'll find some time to jump back in because they talked about all the coming DLC for the first year. Of course, they mentioned before that all this content is free for everyone, and it includes 3 of what they're calling episodes. Episode 1 is called DC Outskirts and will be out in July. Episode 2 is called Pentagon the Last Castle and will be out later this year in fall. And finally, the third episode has you going back to New York, this time in Brooklyn, and that's coming out later in 2020. Plus, any new players can play the game for free from July 13th to July 16th. Another thing Ubisoft announced was a new subscription service for their games called Uplay Plus. This is pretty similar to EA Origin Access or even Xbox Game Pass. For $15 a month, you can play a bunch of Ubisoft games at your leisure. They're saying right now you'll have access to at least 100 plus games, and as part of that, you'll also get access to new releases and DLC. And I think this is the first game subscription to include that DLC feature, so that's pretty cool. That launches on September 3rd this year, and in 2020, you'll be able to use your already existing Uplay subscription with Google Stadia. So I guess that means that there's a Uplay game on Google Stadia and you have Uplay Plus, you can just play that game anywhere. And one final thing I want to talk about is a new game by the Ubisoft Quebec team, and it's called Gods and Monsters. Not too much was shown, it was just a quick teaser trailer, but it looks very different than the Assassin's Creed games these folks usually make. It has that soft, cartoonish art style that I'm really into, and it looks to be set in some form of ancient Greece as well, just like Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Again, not too many details here, but that game does have a release date, and it's February 25th, 2020. I mean, I'm the first one to say that I need a little bit of a break from Assassin's Creed, so seeing one of the Assassin's Creed studios making something completely different is pretty compelling to me. Evie, what do you think about Gods and Monsters?
I star in Gods and Monsters. I am both a god and a monster.
You're kind of just... Alright, never mind. That's pretty much it for the Ubisoft show. There are some few things at the end here that I want to mention. There's just a lot of Tom Clancy coming out, apparently. Ubisoft seems to love their dudes in military uniforms shooting people. We already mentioned The Division, but they talked about a new update to Rainbow Six Siege. They also talked about a new Rainbow Six game coming out next year, which is called Quarantine. Of course, they talked about Ghost Recon Breakpoint, which is coming out later this year. And they even mentioned a Tom Clancy universe mobile game. It's called Tom Clancy Elite Squad. And boy howdy, those are things that exist, I guess. Evie, tell me about Tom Clancy.
Tom Clancy died in 2013, but you sure as fuck wouldn't know it.
Hit the nail right on the head there, Evie. Anyway, folks, thanks so much for watching. Again, stay tuned. We have more videos from E3 coming up later this week. Until next time, I'm Petey, that's Commissioner Evie, and this is the official Ubisoft Alolan Vulpix. We'll catch you guys next time. Bye bye.